Good afternoon and welcome from San Francisco. My name is Krzanowski and I work for the Alzheimer's Association in Development. And we have with me...
I'm Stefanie Bonigut. I'm a Family Services Manager here in San Francisco in our San Jose offices. I'm a family care consultant who works with people with dementia and their families.
We are so excited for all of you to join us for today's Facebook Live. So for those of you who are just joining us, welcome. We're going to talk through this list of topics. So we're going to be celebrating, discussing, anticipating, reflecting, and sharing a little bit of things that are upcoming within our chapter. So let's go ahead and get started. So Stefanie, I heard that we've had a couple of big fundraising opportunities that have been happening in our chapter territory.
We have. We had Inspire Napa that just happened a couple of weeks ago where over $1 million was raised for Alzheimer's research, and also Part the Cloud, which raised over $11 million for Alzheimer's research. This happened down on the peninsula, and a big shout out to Mikey Hogue, who was a big spearhead of that event, and you can tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, and I'd love to give a shout out to Karen Laz, who helped spearhead one of our newer initiatives, the Inspire Napa Valley Wine Weekend, which is a huge success. So again, thank you so much to Karen and Mikey for your great work and your leadership in helping us raise lots of great money for Alzheimer's care and support, along with research. So, for those of you who are joining us, again, my name is Krzanowski, and we have with us...
I'm Stefanie Bonigut, a Family Services Manager.
So, Stefanie, what are the two biggest barriers to finding a way to prevent, treat, or cure Alzheimer's?
So the two biggest barriers are funding and people that participate in clinical trials. So with respect to funding, we've made huge strides in the last 5 years. So in 2013, Alzheimer's and dementia research, the NIH budget was about $500 million. This year, in 2018, it's been increased to $1.8 billion. I mean, this again is a huge increase in a really short period of time. And it does put Alzheimer's and dementia research close to funding for other big categories such as cardiovascular disease, HIV and AIDS, and cancer research. So again, super thrilled with this increase. And what you might not know, Stephen knows, what you, the audience, might not know is that the Alzheimer's Association is the third largest funder of Alzheimer's and dementia research in the world. And we are third behind the US and Chinese governments. So much of this is thanks to the generous donors at events like Inspire Napa and Part the Cloud. So again, big shout outs to those donors that go to those events. The other big barrier is finding people to participate in clinical trials. So most people think that you have to have a disease to be part of a clinical trial, and they also think that most clinical trials are just drug trials. But there's a lot of different types of trials out there, and trials need what we call healthy volunteers or controls, so the researchers can see what happens in people that don't have the disease. So I did a quick search this morning, and there's 265 clinical trials in the United States right now that are currently recruiting for study volunteers. If you want to get involved in a clinical trial of some sort of study, log on to our website and look at Trial Match. And this is our clinical trial matching service. I have an account. All you do is you log on, you create a logon, you create a password, and you create a profile by answering about 10 or 15 different questions. You can have a profile as a healthy volunteer, as a caregiver looking for study for somebody with dementia. You can have a profile if you're living with dementia, because obviously we need folks living with dementia in trials. So you answer these questions, and Trial Match is going to give you a list of trials that you might potentially be eligible for, and you put in your zip code so it'll show trials close to you. I logged on yesterday to see if there was anything new. There are 21 trials that I'm a potential match for. Some of them were a little too far for my liking, but 5 of them are online. You don't have to always do a trial in person. Some are in person, some are online. So there's some new online ones that I haven't heard about before. There was one that I'm already a part of called the Brain Health Registry, which is out of UCSF here in San Francisco. It's a completely online study. About every 6 months, they ask me to log on and create or answer some wellness questions, a health questionnaire, and then do some brain games. It's totally fun. Really, no big impact on me. I just log on every 6 months and answer these questions, and I know that I'm helping researchers figure out how the brain changes with aging.
Wow, thanks, Steph. So, what are a couple of the common issues that caregivers of people with Alzheimer's find challenging, and what tips do you have for them?
I could talk about this for hours. This is what I do on a daily basis, so I'll try not to go on for too long. But I do want to let folks know that we have a 24/7 helpline, 1-800-272-3900. The helpline is available for folks to talk through any kind of caregiving situation. The care consultants can also just answer basic questions about warning signs of dementia or what resources are in the area. So always consider our helpline as a resource for you. But I'll talk to you about a conversation that I've had to have a couple times in the last few weeks. And it's about getting somebody to the doctor to get a diagnosis. As awareness of the disease increases and people know what to look for, then they don't know what the next steps are. So if you're noticing signs in dementia in yourself, because it could be you, or somebody that you really care about, it's really important to get them to the doctor to find out what's causing those changes. Could be something life-threatening, could be something that's easily treatable, could be Alzheimer's or some other form of dementia. You don't want to wait for a crisis for the person to get in front of the doctor. So these are pretty tough conversations to have, so you really want to be gentle, but you do need to be honest. And one way to do that is ask for permission when you have this conversation with the person that you care for. Ask them, if I notice something in your health or how you're functioning on a day-to-day basis, would you want me to tell you about it? And if the person says no, the door is open for that conversation. And just proceed. Again, pay attention to their reaction. You don't want to push too far, but be gentle and honest in the conversation. If they say no, which may happen, you don't want to push the subject too much. You can broach it again at another time, but maybe you mention and talk about the emotions that this might bring up. Like, yeah, it would pretty be hard to talk about this. Well, maybe we'll think about it. Before the conversation, you might want to take some notes so you can actually note down specific concerns that you have noticed, that you witnessed, and then use what we call I statements. I feel that. I noticed. I'm really worried about. So if you use these I statements, they're coming from your point of view, and the person you're talking to will feel less defensive about the things that you might then follow up with. It's also really good to put yourself in their shoes. What would you feel like if somebody was telling you these things? Try to anticipate their reactions, and then you can already have a response that you might be able to say. So again, it's just good to be prepared. You might want to use the words that they use. It might not be that they want to say Alzheimer's or dementia. They might say, oh yeah, I'm having trouble doing things, or yeah, I'm having some memory problems. I have an early stage support group, and a couple of those folks there, when they're out and they're talking to people, they might just say, yeah, I'm having trouble with my memory, instead of telling everyone that they have Alzheimer's disease. But so use their words and repeat that back to them. Well, let's go to the doctor and see what might be causing those troubles that you're having doing your normal daily things. You can try just to suggest to a person that maybe you want to go to the doctor for an annual exam, a yearly exam that a lot of folks get. Also, since 2011, Medicare has covered what's called the annual wellness visit. And this is a little known benefit. It's a really comprehensive physical that includes a cognitive screen, and it's meant to really be preventative. And so you can suggest to your loved one that maybe it's time to go get an annual wellness exam. It's a preventative exam. Let's go to the doctor and make an appointment. A tip about going to the doctor. You should actually see if you can reach out to the doctor and let the doctor know your concerns about your loved one. Tell them some specific instances. And you can do this by phone, by email, or you can even write a letter and mail it to the doctor. Now, there are privacy issues. Unless the doctor has permission to talk to you, you might not know if the doctor has followed up on what you've mentioned. But it's good to know that you have done the best you could do to let the doctor know these are your concerns, and hopefully they'll follow up on that. And then lastly, you might consider what we call a therapeutic fib or a loving lie. This is just a little white lie that can be really difficult to do because we tend not to lie to our loved ones, but it might help you get the person to the doctor. And you might say something like, well, your insurance requires you to go to the doctor once a year to renew your prescription, and that might help you get the person to the doctor. And then again, you're going to want to let the doctor know your concerns beforehand. So I mentioned again that the helpline can really brainstorm these kind of situations. You can get a lot more detail with the care consultants on the helpline. We also have a really robust website which has a bunch of webinars on them that has different topics that you can watch. And we also do a lot of community education, so check the website to see what's available in your area.
Those are great. Thanks so much for sharing that with us. For those of you who are just tuning in, you may be a little late to the party, but we're excited to have you here. My name is Stephen, and I work in our San Francisco office, and this is Stefanie, and we're really excited that you're joining us today. If you do have questions, feel free to put them in the comment section, and we'll try to answer them or follow up with you at a later date.
So I mentioned a little bit about our website. So Stephen, you and I know that May is Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. But you might not know, the audience, we have a lot of resources tailored to the AAPI community. Tell us about those, Stephen.
Sure, I'd love to. So I doubt that you know that we have the ability on our website to have different language options. So we have Chinese, Japanese, Korean, and Vietnamese options available. So we're happy to be able to promote those and provide those services for folks with different languages other than English. Recently, we held a Chinese caregiver forum on May 19th. Over 400 people attended this event. We had research updates from Dr. Jeff Kirshner. We had a caregiver panel participate, and we also had a home safety presentation. Our 24-hour-a-day, 7 days a week helpline that offers simultaneous interpretation in over 200 languages. So we're all about providing that support, no matter where you are and what language you're speaking. Alzheimer's Forum was presented in English and Korean will be presented in English and Korean on Saturday, June 16th from 1 to 3:30 at the KACS, or the Korean American Community Foundation in San Jose. We also have on October 28th from 1 to 4 p.m. a Chinese forum in San Francisco, and that will be at the San Francisco Public Library, the main library, at the Corette Auditorium, which is located at 100 Larkin Street in San Francisco.
And more information about all those events are on our website. So it's almost June, Stephen. It's your favorite month.
It is.
Tell us about the longest day.
Yes, so June is not only Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month, but it's also the longest day, which is one of our signature fundraising events for the Alzheimer's Association. And the longest day is all about turning your hobbies and your passions into fundraising opportunities to not only raise awareness but funds for the association. And all the money that we're raising between now and the end of August, when our season ends, is going directly towards Alzheimer's care support and research. So folks are joining the cause, and they're doing things that they love to honor those that they love with the disease. We honor the longest day of the year, June 21st, the summer solstice, because we know that with people living with Alzheimer's, their family members and caregivers, every day can feel like the longest day of the year. So why not do what you love to honor those that you love with the disease? So folks across our chapter territory and nationwide are hiking, they're biking, they're cycling, they're wine tasting, you name it, they're doing it, and they're turning those hobbies into fundraising opportunities, which is truly exciting. The beauty of the longest day is it offers so much flexibility. You get to pick the time, the location, the date, the invite list, the activity that you're going to do, and you sort of plan that event. And it's a great opportunity to do a smaller scale event or larger scale event and include people that are close to you. We give you a fundraising website, so if you register online at alz.org/thelongestday, again, that is alz.org/thelongestday, you can still register, and if you register by June 5th, we're going to send you one of these t-shirts in the mail by June 21st. So we're really excited. Thank you for showcasing that, Stefanie. Our own Vanna White here. And one of the exciting things about this fundraising opportunity through our website is we have a new integration directly through our Participant Center for Facebook integration. And we've seen some really great success with people who are just starting their fundraising process online. In your Participant Center, there's a really quick button that you'll choose. It's a quick process, and you'll be able to integrate a fundraiser on Facebook. I'd like to give a shout out to some of the folks who are already doing some really phenomenal work in their fundraising efforts. We have Barb Lemmy, who is working with our ACBL Unit 512 and the Napa and Sonoma area. They recently just held a succulent planting party in their community, and they raised over $500, which is really cool. The Villages in San Jose hosted a golf fundraiser and raised over $21,000.
Awesome.
We have lots of folks that are going to be doing some great fundraisers in the month of June, July, and August. We have the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority in Oakland, who will be hosting a cycling event. We have a caregiver, Anne, who's going to be walking across Scotland to raise awareness and funds. Over 2 months, she's going to be walking across the country, which is truly remarkable. We have folks at Arthur Murray Dance Studios that are going to be dancing. And Steph, I don't know that if you know this or not, but in our chapter so far, Arthur Murray has raised over $60,000.
Wow, that's cool.
And nationwide, they have raised over $90,000. So
of course, our chapter territory is the best.
We're just so excited to have the Arthur Murray community fundraising for Alzheimer's care support and research. And those ACBL groups are planning their bridge tournaments and bridge events that are happening all throughout the month of June. So again, I encourage you to register at alz.org/thelongestday and join us in the month of June, July, and August for fundraising around the longest day.
And if you're in the San Francisco area, the San Francisco office has a team, and our fundraiser is on June 15th. We're having a bake sale here in the office. So if you're interested in buying an assortment of cookies, contact us here, and we'll have you come down on the 15th of June and pick out some cookies. But not only do we have the longest day, we have lots of committees working on our Walks to End Alzheimer's events that happen in the fall. So Stephen, I hear the Giants are doing some fun stuff for us.
They sure are. So we have an Alzheimer's Awareness Night on June 19th. The game's going to start at 7:15. We're going to be playing against the Miami Marlins. A portion of the proceeds from every Alzheimer's Awareness Night special event ticket will be donated directly to the Alzheimer's Association. And Michelle's going to be posting that link in the comment section so you can get your tickets today. Our walk registrations are open, so we're hoping that you will join us in the fight against Alzheimer's through our Walk to End Alzheimer's. So register online. You can go to alz.org/walk. Our walk committees are still looking for folks to join our efforts. It takes a lot of really great work from a lot of really phenomenal volunteers to make our walks happen. So we're relying on folks like yourselves that are watching to join our efforts. So start a team today, join one of our committees.
The committees seem to have a lot of fun. There was a San Francisco Walk Committee last week in the office, and they were just having a grand old time that night.
So Steph, we have almost 100 advocates from California and Nevada who are getting ready to head to Washington, D.C. next month for our Advocacy Forum. What's that all about?
So every year we do both a state and a federal advocacy forum. Our state forum already happened this year in February, but in June we have thousands of advocates descending on Washington, D.C. for our federal advocacy forum. I went back in, I think it was 2015, and it was really an incredible experience. As I mentioned, thousands of advocates come to Washington, D.C., and we learn about the policy priorities of the Alzheimer's Association. The highlight of the few days is the day that we actually descend on Capitol Hill, and we meet with the representatives and the senators and their staffs, and we educate them about Alzheimer's and dementia and what we want to happen with policy. So it's really a pretty amazing event. A lot of times we have people living with the disease that come and talk. We might have their family members there instead, but they tell those personal stories to the politicians, and that's what really resonates. So again, this year, Advocacy Forum in DC is June 17th to 19th. You can follow our social media channels during those couple of days. A lot of times we'll have some action events, and you can actually participate from home. So follow us on Twitter and look at our Facebook page. Another way to learn more about our policy priorities is to visit the website of our sister organization, AIM, the Alzheimer's Impact Movement, which is alzimpact.org. There's a lot of policy, California state policy updates that just happened this past couple days. So I'm going to actually refer to my list here because I don't want to get anything wrong. But the biggest thing is tomorrow on Thursday, the Budget Conference Committee is going to vote on a $2.2 million one-time funding for Alzheimer's early detection. We really want this to get out of this committee, because if it doesn't get out of committee tomorrow on Thursday, it's going to be dead for this legislative year. So again, check out the comments page right now. Michelle's going to post an image that you can post on Facebook or you can tweet, because we really want those committee members to vote this out of the committee tomorrow. So help us take action on that. And then last week we had several key bills that were passed out of the Appropriations Committee, so they're moving on in the process. This is fantastic. We have State Bill 1292 from Hueso, and this is about the disproportionate impact of Alzheimer's disease on African Americans, Latinos, and women. There's also Assembly Bill 2233 from Ash Kalra about expanding the slots for the Medi-Cal assisted living waiver. We actually have a number of folks and families that use that assisted living waiver, so we really want to see this program expanded. And then there's also Assembly Bill 2400, again from Ash Kalra, and this is about the voluntary tax checkoff for Alzheimer's research that you can put on your tax return. And a big shout out to the governor, because we got a $3.2 million increase for Alzheimer's research in the budget. And then of course, none of this can happen without the thousands of volunteer advocates that we have that visit the representatives and their legislators, asking them for support. So thank you again to those advocacy volunteers. And Stephen did allude to this a little bit. June is Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month. So actually on the longest day, June 23rd, we have a resolution on the Assembly floor, ACR 239, sponsored by Mayenshine and Cooley. So that's how the Assembly is going to be celebrating the longest day. So besides the longest day in advocacy,
Yes.
what else is on the calendar for June, like we didn't already have enough?
Right? So, Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month, the entire month of June. So this is a great way for you to show your support for the association. We encourage you to become active on social media, to talk about the disease in your community, and to engage everyone you know in the work and the mission of the Alzheimer's Association. This year, our focus is on early detection. And I don't know that if you all know this, but only half of the people living with Alzheimer's are diagnosed with the disease.
That's true.
So we're really focusing on that early diagnosis component. So if you go to alz.org/10signs, that'll direct you to our early warning, know the 10 signs, on how to understand a little bit more about the disease. There will also be tips on #living well with Alzheimer's and other cognitive impairments shared by individuals in our communities online.
And on the program services side, I mentioned earlier that we have lots of community education and workshops in the community. We also do lots of conferences. And as you can see, June 7th is a really busy day for conferences. June 7th up in Roanoke Park, this is the Continuum of Care. This is the 12th annual Continuum of Care. It's actually open to family, caregivers, and professionals. June 7th is the LGBT Dementia Care Summit here in San Francisco. And June 7th in Eureka, we're doing the Changing Face of Dementia Conference. On June 13th in Modesto, there's a Care Partner Education event. And On June 30th, there's a care partner, a caregiver wellness conference, and this one's going to be held in Spanish in Fresno. Check out our website, call the helpline at 1-800-272-3900 for more details on any of these events and any event that we've mentioned so far.
Another event that's happening tomorrow evening, Rivals San Francisco, which is our Blondes versus Brunettes flag football team. They are slated to raise $100,000 for Alzheimer's care, support, and research. They're going to be hosting a competitive wine tasting event in the city, so tickets are still available, and we can put that link in the comment section. So if you'd like to sign up and register and join us tomorrow evening, we'd love to have you join us in the city. There are so many ways for you to join our efforts on a local level. So if you're interested in volunteering or you're looking for full-time employment, reach out to us. We're actively looking for folks to share their talents with us as we collectively work towards our vision of a world without Alzheimer's.
And if you have any questions that come up between now and the next Facebook Live, which is June 28th at 11:30, but if you have any questions that come up, reach out to us and we can try to answer those in June.
It's been a pleasure chatting with you all today. This is Stephen and Stephanie signing off.